We had Ron Cronin teaching us some good stuff, right? Hello? Yeah, good things, good things. So what I did was I took a few minutes and I wrote down some of the things that he was teaching us and some of the thoughts that kind of occurred to me as I was listening to the class. So I kind of wanted to go over some of the things right now to kind of help focus us and probably try to get more out of what's going on here at the end of the year. So write this down. Less is more. Less is more. What I meant by that is we need to focus on the most essential task of the day. Focus on the most essential task of the day. When we start shotgunning things and we start working on this and this and this and then that, great things don't tend to end up happening. Has there ever been a time where you were working on something, the phone rang, or email popped up, or something went on, and you stopped working, and then you took care of it? Wasn't long, 5-10 minutes, whatever came up, and then you stopped, you were done, and you went back to the task at hand. Did it take some time to get back into what you were doing? You know, even if it was a moment or two or three, or sometimes we forgot what we were doing. Oh yeah, what was it I was working on? You know, and then we start working, and we look at our desk. Okay, this is the worst thing that happens, is we start looking at our desk for things to remind us of what we were working on, right? And then what happens when that happens? You not only get that item that pops up, but then you get this file, I forgot to make the phone call on this one. And here's a follow-up call I haven't made yet today. No, geez, it's almost noontime. I got to make this call right now, or I'm not going to be able to get in touch with the person. Does that ever happen? We need to focus on what is the most important thing. And it's really doing less gets more done at the end of the day. So that was one of the first thoughts I came up with. Number 2, and I'm as guilty on this as anyone else, exercise. Make this a habit if it's not already. We're not exercising enough. And I'm the first one to tell you, I just don't feel like doing that anymore. Okay? I just don't. Why? Who knows why? Okay? Yet, we know that's what we need to do. We need to take care of our bodies, and that helps us feel better, get the endorphins going, not even going to get started, just for our energy, our health, and for our productivity. I wrote down here the third thought, and this is when I'm watching everybody rush in and rush out. You know, I happened to, part of the meetings I would sit toward the front, and I didn't know what was going on behind me, and I didn't realize that half the crowd came in late. So then the second time I was there, I sat toward the very back and watched the whole place kind of fill up in 15, 20, 30 minutes after it started. So stop rushing. Focus on what you're doing in the moment and don't rush through it. Stop rushing. You know what? You're supposed to be someplace at 8:30 in the morning. Just get up a half an hour earlier. Get there on time. It's better to be 15 minutes early than 2 minutes late. You guys with me on this? Yep. Absolutely. The fourth one, fail. So I was thinking about this as I'm listening to Ron talk about it, and we don't fail enough. Now, wow, Neil, wait a minute. You want me to succeed, not fail, right? Right. But what am I really talking about? I'm talking about the effort that we put into it, the calls that we make to expireds, the calls that we make to past client sphere, the new scripts, the new dialogues. The reason we don't do this is so many times we're doing it to protect ourselves because we don't want to look bad, right? Hello?
Yes.
Isn't most of the things you don't want to do because you're afraid you're going to look bad doing it? Or you're going to look silly So I wrote down here, don't be afraid to fall flat on your face and fail. If you're afraid of failing, you're going to never take important steps. Without failure, there will be no success. One of my favorite things, I've brought this out a few times before. This is a laminated card that my dad gave me. Got to be 40 years ago now. 35 years ago. 35 years ago, probably. Okay, and I laminated it. He cut it out of the newspaper, and he gave it to me at a time when things were particularly tough. Okay, now I know you guys look at me, my nice new suit, my cool watch, and my expensive tie, and my nice cool car, and the fact that I have these nice homes that we live in. Those are all cool, right? Say yes.
Yes.
It's nice. It's nice. See, the assumption is that's how I was raised. That's why I was brought up. That's how I started. That's the farthest thing from the truth that there can be. I am completely, I want to say self-made. There's no one that's self-made. We're all accumulation of our parents, the people we've met along the way, the books that we read. But it's all been moved along the way in a very positive. My relationships with you guys have helped move me along. Helping you helps me. Do you guys know that?
Yeah, sure.
Do you realize how much I get from the opportunity to help you? It's pretty cool, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I could use a little time off. You could do a little more of what I ask you to do a little more often, more occasionally. I'm just suggesting. Anyway, my dad gave me this. He said, don't be afraid to fail. You've failed many times, though you don't remember. You fell down the first time you tried to walk. You almost drowned the first time you tried to swim. Did you hit the ball the first time you swung the bat? Heavy hitters, the ones who hit most home runs, also strike out a lot. R.H. Macy failed 7 times before his store in New York caught on. English novelist John Kersey got 753 rejection slips before he published 564 books. Babe Ruth stuck out 1,330 times, but he also hit 714 home runs. Don't worry about the failure. Worry about the chances you miss when you don't even try. Carry this with me every single day of my life since he gave it to me. Don't be afraid to fall flat on your face, because you won't take the important steps if you start to be afraid of it. I wrote down number 5, wake up early. It can make a huge impact on your life when you get things done earlier. So get up earlier. Next point, review your goals. This was huge for me at the event last week. We don't spend enough time looking at the things that are important to us, the large ones and the small ones. We just don't. What we do is we get caught up in the rat race of trying to get our bills paid, trying to get the little things taken care of. There's nothing exciting and fun. So one of the things that we're going to work on here right after the first of the year is both a weekly or certainly monthly short-term goal. What would it be exciting and fun for you to accomplish if you did X? What if you actually this week hit 200 contacts? You did the 200 contacts. What if you did that? And then you would reward yourself something for doing it. Nothing major, nothing spectacular, but the fact that you hit the 200 contacts for that week. Go out and have dinner. Have a little contest with somebody in the office where you buy lunch or I'll buy lunch if we hit the 200 or don't hit the 200. Or if we both hit the 200, we'll go to a little nicer lunch. Or if we don't hit the 200, I'll wash your car and you wash mine. That would be ugly. Turn into some kind of... So Set it up. Set the goals up. Set something up that excites you. I was talking to one of the gals earlier today, and I didn't even really know this was a goal, that it was one of her goals. She's a diver, and I kind of know that she did some diving, but not that she was that interested in today. But what she wanted to do was go with a girlfriend or two at some really fun place for 3 or 4 days and do some diving. Now, that's not a cheap trip, but it really meant a lot to her, and she didn't have that as a goal for this last year. So I made a big note of it, circled it, and it's something that we wanted to include and make sure it could happen. What is it for you? What is it for you that would get your juices going that you could look at on a regular basis and might be exciting like that? I wrote down here, get organized. The more organized you are, the less time you're going to waste. Does anybody besides me find that they spend time looking for stuff? Looking for stuff. It's impossible. So I'm not quite sure exactly how to do that, and maybe we'll have to bring in somebody to talk about the organizational skills of that. But we spend 10 or 15 minutes looking for a document that we filed away. It's kind of crazy. I'm doing the same thing right now. So that's one of my things I got out of that meeting last week. I wrote down here, be positive. Focus on the positive. Focus on what you have, not on what you don't have. Okay, also write down the word gratitude. Write down the word gratitude. Sometimes we beat ourselves up for things that we lost or didn't get. We didn't get the listing. We didn't get the appointment. We didn't get the sale. We start beating ourselves up, and we make ourselves feel small and little and insignificant, right? Say yes. Yes. We do that, right? And yet, we're tremendous. We're fantastic. We're spectacular. I mean, look, I don't think you guys get this, but just being here today is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. What's the date today?
14th.
14th of December, and you're working. You're going to work. For the most part, most of you have already put in 2.5, 3 hours today in working on trying to generate new business. Some of you have worked on your scripts and dialogues, trying to learn what to say and how to say it at a higher level. Some of you are set for the class afterwards to take some more advanced training on the same thing. You should be so proud of yourselves. Give yourselves a big hand. Let's go. Amazing. Amazing. I wrote down here, visualize. Envision your most positive future self. What would life be like? What would life be like when you achieve that goal? When you take that listing? When you learn that script? When you go to that place? When you get that thing? When you meet that person? What would life be like? Visualize it. Close your eyes. Take a look at it. There's also an exercise that you can do. I learned this I think in one of Tony Robbins' books. It's hard to work on right now, but maybe you can try to do this. When you close, so visualize the word. Close your eyes for a moment and visualize the word winner. Close your eyes and visualize the word winner. W-I-N-N-E-R. Okay? Now visualize you putting what looks like a circle around that word winner. Identify, is the word, take up the whole picture? Is it a small word? Is it a big word? How does it take up the picture in your mind's eye? And then what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to kind of attach some feeling to the word winner, okay, as you're looking at that word. And then I'd like you to take that circle and I'd like you to, in your mind's eye, to grow the circle, to expand the circle, thereby making the word winner bigger. Anyone ever able to do that? When you made the word winner bigger, those of you that did it make you feel better?
Yes.
Interesting, huh? It gave you a positive feeling and kind of makes it feel better. Simple exercise. Simple thing to do for yourself. The word winner, because that's what you are. You're a winner. And by doing that, you've expanded the word. And when you expand the word bigger in your mind's eye, it gets bigger. Now, you can reverse it. Let's say you have a problem word. You can take the same thing and make the word smaller and insignificant. You guys get that? And then the problem tends to go away. Because what we're doing is we're making the problem bigger or smaller. We're making the situation better or worse. Get it? That's all we're doing with our mind. Okay? I'll find I'm sure it's in a Tony Robbins book someplace. I'll find it and send you guys the excerpt on it. So visualization. The next thing is was get the toughest things done first. Get the toughest things in the day done first. Aim to accomplish the 3 most important things of your day before 12 o'clock. Shoot to finish, to accomplish, to take care of the 3 most important things before noontime. Get the morning right. You've heard this before 1,000 times. When you get the morning right, the AM follows in a positive or negative way? Hello? Positive. If you don't get the AM right, what tends to happen with the rest of the day? When you get the AM right, it tends to be a positive day. So the question is, would you rather have a positive day or negative day?
Positive.
Positive day. So you need to get up, get started, get 3 things done in your day. I mean, that came out of the meeting this last week. I don't know if it was said exactly the same way, but when you get the morning right, the rest of the day tends to come along. Here's the proof on that. We've talked about this before. You make a list of things to do. Things that you need to accomplish today. Everybody's been taught to do that since we were kids. Make a little list of things to do. Write it down. And then work on accomplishing those things for the day. Now, you can't put down there, sell a house and take a listing. I guess you could, but the truth is you don't have 100% control over that activity. You have to put down on the list the things you have control over. Talking to 10 people, you have control over. Okay? Going and previewing 5 pieces of property, you have control over. Going to see an expired, you have control over. Reading your goals, you have control over. Going to the market and picking up your groceries, you have control over. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Only the things you have absolute control over. You don't have control. You may have control over setting a listing appointment. You might have control over that, but you don't have control over taking the listing. You guys get that? Okay? So at the end of the day, when you've checked off everything on that list, how do you feel about yourself?
Great.
You feel fabulous about yourself. So if you got the morning right, you set your day up that way, at the end of the day you checked off this list, you'd feel amazing about yourself. Now, when you feel amazing about yourself by the end of the day, what is your outlook for tomorrow? Positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, right? You're excited about tomorrow. So you set your new checklist, your new goals. You talk about getting up a little bit earlier and getting to the gym. You talk about the 3 or 4 things that you need to do. And you start this cycle of positive things. You feel positive? You set some positive goals down and activities down. You accomplish those positive goals and activities. You feel good about yourself. Same thing happens. You have this circle of good stuff happening. What happens if it's the other way? This doesn't go backwards. It still goes this way, but you start to feel bad about yourself. And then if you felt bad about yourself at night, you tend to feel bad about the things. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to get up in the morning. You know, I got 3 expireds to call. They're never going to list with me. You know, they probably already listed. Why should I even call them? You know, I'm not even going to bother. You know, you get up in the morning. Why should I get up earlier? You know, I should go door knock that expired because that's what Neil said to do. Why would I do that? I'm probably going to have a flat tire. You know, my car probably won't even start. You know, I mean, you guys are killing yourselves. Does that make sense? Yes. So you've got to take baby steps to do this. Just put down the things you have total control over, and then feel good about yourself, and then keep working on that through the day. You guys get it? Yes. Good job. All right. So I wrote down here, be focused. And we talked a little bit about that earlier, but I think it's really, really important. I want to talk about, again, work on one goal and one task at a time. Stop spreading ourselves too thin. Women, you are masters of this, because the truth is you are lots of things to lots of people, and you can balance much more than guys. In fact, guys, this is an easier task. Guys focus on, they get one task and they work on working on that one task. Don't get me. Okay, it's true. Gals, women, you guys are multitaskers. You're super women. You can be a great mom and a great provider and great at cleaning the house and great at cooking dinner, and you're just and the kids have a homework assignment, you know, and you're steering the cake over here and you're doing the math over here. I've seen you guys do this. I can't do it. But you have to slow that down. Okay? Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Because that is not giving the focus to what's at hand. When you're prospecting, prospect. When you're working on your scripts and dialogues, work on your scripts and dialogues. Do you guys get what I'm talking about here?
Yes.
Just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Okay? Guys, we know we can. This is not going to happen. Don't worry about it. All right. I wrote down here, failure is only a failure if you let it defeat you. Failure is only a failure if you let it defeat you. Now, what do I mean? I went and I knocked on a for sale by owner's door, and they rejected me. That's it. I'm not talking to for sale by owners anymore, because they're all going to reject me. They're all going to push me away. I wrote down here, expireds. You follow up on an expired, you get no results. What do? That's it. No more expireds. I'm not doing that anymore. I wrote down here, if you do 20 deals now and you want to do 50, this is really important thought, you guys. This is probably the essence of what I got out of last week. If you do 20 deals now and you want to do 50, you have to start doing what people doing 50 deals now do. You have to act like they act. You have to dress like they dress. You have to think how they think, and you have to work on the activities that they work on. You can't want to do 50 deals and then make 2 phone calls to expireds a day and expect you to get 50 deals. You guys get this?
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way. It simply doesn't work that way. You know, we have the conversation with you. Some of you are working expireds at a really high level in terms of going out and seeing them. And you're going from Fontana to El Monte, from the ocean to the mountains. It sounds like a song. From the mountain. No. But you're killing yourselves. You're killing yourselves. Stop doing that. Tighten your markets up. Tighten your markets up so that you can preview the properties, so that you can see the expired, so that you can go back multiple times. If they're not home at noon, go back at 3. If they're not home at 3, go back at 6. You can't do that if you're working the whole county. You just can't. So tighten up your markets a little bit. Do that for yourselves. And the last thought from last week for me, it's clear that our mindset controls our destiny. It's crystal clear to me that our mindset controls our destiny. I remember a number of years ago that Ron Cronin had difficulty getting up and talking in front of a group. I knew that his presentation was a little herky-jerky. I knew that he knew the material, but kind of knew the material. You know, the 2006 Mike Ferry one-on-one retreat, in my opinion, is the gold standard of what Mike teaches. Now that's a CD set, DVD set, that you all have access to through us. It's in your onboarding package. You all can use it. It's phenomenal. And yet, people don't really go back in. What do you do when you work the Mike Ferry program? You think Mike Ferry is all about what? Come on. Starts with a P. You think it's all about prospecting. It's not. It's part of it. But your guys are killing yourselves when you think it's all about prospecting and turning in the numbers and going like that. We talk about the scripts and dialogues. You know, here's a thought. If you had a phenomenal pre-listing package that you had created that looked nice, okay? Didn't have to be, high gloss, look like a high-end magazine. It just had to be a quality piece that you would have pride getting delivered to a house. If you had that and it was done, and you knew what to say and how to say it at a really high level, and you had previewed 1,000 houses over the last 12 months in most of the markets we work in, and you took our expired scripts. You know the expired script we practiced last week? You had the Mike Ferry script, then you had a page of statements after it, things to use in case of, and then you took the 3 objection handlers that we teach you, okay? 5 pieces of paper, and you knew those at this level. And I never said for you to prospect, but you knew it. You knew how to do it, and you had a great presentation. How excited would you be to go talk to a few expireds? Hello? Very excited. I'd never have to beg you to go see the old expireds. I'd never stand up here and say, please, please, please. I wouldn't have to. You'd all be out running to do it because you'd have this confidence about you because you knew what to say and how to say it, and you had seen 1,000 houses. So when somebody says to you, that, I want to get $50,000 more for my house, then because you knew what to say and how to say it, and you would be asking questions. So let me ask you, Mr. Jones, do you really want to sell your house, or are you trying to get this price for it? Well, I want to get this price, and I want to sell my house. Well, if you can't get this price, asking questions. If you can't get this price, are you still going to sell your house? What do we want? We want the answer. We don't want the just a yes or just a no. We want the truth, right? Yeah, I would sell my house. Great. Let's sit down and figure out what the best price is, because that one's not going to work. You've had the house listed for 6 months. You've had 3 people come by. You've had 4 offers on it. They've all come in here. You should have taken one. Your agent should have talked you into taking one. Shame on them for not doing that. And now I'm not sure if we can even get you that price, but if we can, I can get it for you. So let's sit down and talk about it, and I'll tell you about every single property in the area, because you are confident and capable. But I would never have to ask you to prospect again, would I? You see, who was at the event the other day with Mike? Raise your hand. Okay. So he passed out a packet. Do you guys remember that? Yes. Okay. When he introduced the packet to me, he said, "This is the anti-prospecting packet." I said, "Well, what does that mean?" He says, I've been doing this a different way. I'm going to change this." I said, "What does that mean?" He says, "I'm not going to ask them to prospect. I'm going to ask them to get great at their scripts and dialogues. I'm going to ask them to know about all the pieces of property. And then I'm never going to have to ask them to prospect again." Interesting thought, huh? Because when you know what to say and how to say it, and you know the pricing of the property, then you roll up, you take your jacket off, you roll up your sleeves, and you feel confident about going out. Do you know why you don't prospect now? I'll tell you. You don't know what to say, and you don't know how to say it at a really high level. Some of you are better than others. Some of you are much better than others. And those of you that are much better than others, go do it at this level. But what if you really knew it? Do you guys get it? Am I making any sense here? Because I have another talk I could do. Let me see. My mission for you, my mission through our coaching group, through the things that I do, from Mike to me, from me to you, is to get you to be the best at what you can be. So we never talk about prospecting again. We talk about getting you better. If you know what to say and how to say it at a really high level, I'm never going to have to get up here and beg you to prospect. I may beg you to preview, but once you do some previewing, everyone that's done it at a pretty high level, when you've done your previewing, you always come back to me and say, "Wow, I didn't know how powerful I would feel after seeing 40 or 50 homes. I'm like powerful. I'm like a superhero. I have superpowers." You can do that. And you can do that this week. And you can do that with running through the finish line and focusing for the next 2 or 3 weeks on making sure that's done. So that we never have, so 2017 is a year of not talking about prospecting. 16. What'd I say?
17.
Well, it might take a year, you guys. I've been doing this for 40 years and I am having trouble. I wrote down here, your mindset controls your destiny. This could change your real estate life. This simple thought could change your real estate life. Get so good at it, look so good, be so confident about what's going on in the marketplace that it could change your destiny. Your mindset controls your destiny. I wrote down here, I am the most important asset I have. Not my money, not my family. You are the most important asset you have. Not your money, not your family. It starts and ends with you. Your family needs you to change your mindset, to change the destiny of you and your entire family, your children, your kids. your spouse, your significant others, the people that you take care of. You are what people are buying. You are what people are buying. You have to be great at your scripts and dialogues. You have to be great at your product knowledge. If you do what others won't do for the next 10 years, I used to talk about 5, but you know what? It just takes longer. But what the heck? What else have we got to do, right? But if you'll do what others won't do for the next 10 years, and I am living proof of that, if you will do what others will not do for 10 years, getting good with the scripts, getting good with the dialogues, knowing the product, knowing what you've got, knowing what's going on here, you can do what others can't do for the rest of your life. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have long and wonderful lives. We're going to live longer. It just is. Now, you can live longer with more in your pocket and more assets, or you're going to be more miserable living longer without money in your pockets. Now, think about what I just said, because that's what's going on out there. It's great to live longer, but do you really want to live longer without the assets? You have the opportunity right now to change that destiny, to change it up. Now let's go out and run through the finish line and make this the best week we've ever had. Thank you very much.